don't know why you're clapping for me. Something happened. Good answer. It's always exciting when something happens, but I've got something even better that's going to happen. You know what that is? I am going to welcome the absolutely beautiful book nerd herself, Gillian Berrow, to the stage. Let's give her the round of applause.
So we're going to kind of just wing this because I know the program said I was going to read. However, I just spent an hour reading to the children and I can't do it anymore. So we're going to talk about books or, whatever you guys want to talk about. I am here to answer your questions. All right.
So if you have a question, there is a microphone right up here in the front. If you want to go ahead and form a line, that would be wonderful. And in the meantime, you can answer this question. Yeah. Did you eat breakfast?
I did eat breakfast.
Good.
Today.
I'm proud of you.
How many of you guys have read the books? Can I see a show of hands? All right. How about Daring Do? Who's read Daring Do? Who likes Daring Do? All right. Good. Good crowd. I like you guys. All right. So, hello, sir.
Hello. So when you're writing your books, how much consideration do you put into the lore building that you're putting in? A lot of it can be added to headcanons and just expanding the fandom. So do you put in a lot of work to see how you're going to be expanding the meta of the world?
Absolutely. I'm a fan just like you guys. I want everything to fit together. It's really important to me that it does. So I take my job seriously, and I every time I put something in, whether it be a location or a reference, I want it to seamlessly fit. So if it doesn't, that's because, it's practically impossible to make all of the forms of media fit together. But definitely world building is one of the coolest parts, but also the most treacherous in a way. I don't want to add too much stuff because then it's overloaded and, it can't actually fit. In Daring Do books, it was really different for me to be able to do a lot of world building there and a lot of unexplored places in Equestria, even a city in the clouds, and that was awesome. But everything I chose, I was careful to consult the map that I had, reference past things from past Daring Do, scripts. The funniest part of that is that most of those scripts, or the scripts where she's referenced, they weren't supposed to make sense. So when I wrote them, I had to make them all fit together, and that was a challenge. But I think I did all right in the end. But yes, I do. See, I told you I ramble. I'm a rambler. All right. I kind of will take one question and then talk for 10 minutes. So
you get the best answers that way, though.
All right. So yeah, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
All right.
That's good. Thank you.
Hooray.
Great. Hi. I love the Daring Do books. I bought them. I read them. I thought my nephew's birthday was coming right up, and so he got a set too, and he loves them too. He actually told my mother, "I'm sorry, I'm reading." He just yells, "I'm sorry." I noticed that there were references to 21 artifacts, which suggested there were 21 more Daring Do books in the thing. And I don't expect you to write 21 books, but I'm just really curious if you're going to write any follow-ups to the Daring Do books, because they were really good.
Oh, thank you so much. I think it might be 22 artifacts, if I'm...
Oh my gosh, wow.
I don't know. However, I chose that as a device to tie everything together and to leave it open for me to write more. So I was hoping that, the previous Daring Do adventures, which are referenced in the front of the book, there's a list, and those are every title that has been mentioned in the show or in another book or in the comics. And we made an order for them and then started my stories at the end. So it's like you're dropped into it. So with that, I was thinking that we've already seen her rescue a lot of things, find a lot of relics. And in those sorts of series, it's always very satisfying to have a greater arc that you kind of get little snippets of throughout all the books, and then it all comes together. So I have a vision for how that's going to go.
Oh, cool.
It's just I might get to do more, and that's all I can say about that.
Great, wonderful, thank you.
So, hello.
Hi. What was your favorite book or books growing up?
Growing up, well, I read everything and was one of those kids that loved almost everything. I'm still one of those adults, actually. Growing up, I mean, Harry Potter, I keep referencing, but who isn't in love with Harry Potter? Those had a huge impact on me. I actually read the first Harry Potter book right when it came out, and no one knew what it was. My school librarian ordered it for me, and she thought that I would like it, and she said, would you do a review for this book that just came out and tell me how it is? And, you know, I was 12, and now look at Harry Potter. I remember being very upset in a way when it became super popular, because I was like, that's mine. And now everyone's trying to say that they're fans of this, but I knew first. No.
Are you
Which
a
is so
hipster?
silly.
Are you a hipster?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
I hope not. Although I do live in Brooklyn, so I don't know. What else? I loved Roald Dahl. I loved The Golden Compass. Have you heard of that by Philip Pullman? That series. It's called His Dark Materials, the trilogy. Really good books. My dad read to me all the time from Lord of the Rings and sci-fi books. Ender's Game he read to me when I was really little. So, everything. Yeah. I'll come back around to that if I think of more.
Cool.
But
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hi.
My question was going to be similar to his, so I'll try to rephrase a little bit. But when did you first decide that you wanted to get into ghostwriting and like professional writing, and how did you go about pursuing that?
Well, I actually fell into writing books a little bit on accident, which is funny in a way, because it seems like it should have been so clear to me that that was something I could do. I loved writing. I loved reading everything as a kid, as I said. I ended up going to college for film production, TV and film production, and there I learned that I really liked screenwriting for television. And I took a kids' TV class, actually, and that was my favorite class. So after college, I tried to get into screenwriting first, and I was just working on a bunch of scripts and working on some spec scripts, which are basically you write an episode of a show that's currently on the air. And I started writing a script for Glee, because it had just come out. And I knew that that was my tone that I excelled at. Kind of happy, fun, silly, poppy sort of thing. So I thought, I think I can do that. So I started writing one, and my roommate had been reading my drafts of it. And she got a job shortly thereafter as an editorial assistant at a publishing house. Mm-hmm. And she said, you'll never believe this. My publisher just acquired and signed a deal to do a bunch of Glee young adult books, and they can't find anyone who knows this show well enough. Do you want to try out? And the first thing I said was, Glee books? That's really stupid, because that's a show about singing. But then I said, yeah, of course I want to try. So I tried out, and I didn't know what I was doing at all. I just wrote a little sample outline, and they were like, great, you're hired. And oh my gosh, what am I doing? So I just started out ghostwriting outlines for other ghostwriters, and then they would use my stories, very detailed, in-depth stories, and they would turn them into books. And eventually my publisher just said, you know what, you should do it. You know what you're doing by now. We trust you. And so they started letting me ghostwrite books. And that's how the long story of how I got into it. And then, I worked in a bunch of different series as a ghostwriter, which is really safe in a way because no one knows it's you. So if you mess up, it's kind of like, I didn't do that. I don't know what you're talking about. So whenever I used to read bad reviews of those, because there are many, it's books about singing, guys, come on. I would just be like, well, no one knows anyway. But it was very good practice for me to learn to write and deliver manuscripts and work for someone and work within what they wanted. And so eventually my editor from one of those series called me up and said, do you want to write a My Little Pony book? And the rest is history.
Thank you, that's so incredible.
Oh, thanks. I told you guys, I ramble. I feel like I guess I'm the only one here, so it's all right.
Well, it's so interesting, though. I'm just sitting here like, yes, tell me more, please.
Hello.
Hello. Deadpool. Yeah. Derpy Deadpool.
Yep, Derp to Deadpool. A non-book and non-writing question. Who's your favorite of the main six?
Favorite of the main six.
And why?
And why? My stock answer for this question always was Pinkie Pie, because I love her and I feel like I'm a little like her. Like I'm just like, wah! I don't know if you can tell, but she's just so silly and she makes everyone smile. I mean, what's not to love about that? But recently I've been digging Rarity too.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm an aspiring writer and an artist, and I'd really like to write my own books and scripts someday, and maybe draw my own storyboards to go with them. So my question is, what advice would you give someone like me?
Well, I noticed that you said eventually. My advice to you would to be just do it now.
How could you do this?
Do it! Just do it! Yeah, oh man, I went Shia on you guys. No, I think, I used to speak that way too, and then I realized it's not going to happen unless I start something and practice. Yeah. So the advice I always give to aspiring writers is write something, read a lot, find out what you like. Every time before I sit down to write, I read. Gets you in a really good rhythm of the way language works, or the way that some author that you like, the way they write, you can get into it that way. And just don't be afraid. Get started, and then eventually you'll have a book. It's that simple. After a lot of procrastinating and tearing your hair out, but but good luck.
Thank you.
Hi, I just wanted to ask because I know I've read all your books, and it's one thing I've noticed is even more so than the My Little Pony show, you just litter them with so many horse puns. So where do you get the ideas for that? Is that all just in your vocabulary, or do you have like a dictionary of equine terms?
It's a little of both. I'll think of them sometimes, and it'll be like the best part of my day. I'll be like, oh, that was good, and I'll just laugh about it all day. Sometimes I really want one to happen, so I'll force it, and I'll look at horse terms online, and I'll be like, how can I make this work? And then I have a rhyming dictionary that I use, and yeah, you all can make horse puns too.
Thank you.
Nay, I cannot.
Hi, I absolutely love the Daring Do books, and my question is, what was your inspiration when writing the first Daring Do book?
My inspiration? You're talking about Daring Do and the Marked Thief of Maripor, right?
Correct.
Okay. So with that one, obviously Daring Do is derivative of Indiana Jones. I rewatched the movies, I took some notes about things I liked, and the second Indiana Jones movie, Temple of Doom, which a lot of people don't like, I guess, but I really like it a lot. I found it so fun and really sort of underappreciated. So I wanted to start with that kind of as inspiration. In that movie, there's a village called Mayapur. So I was like, horse pun, Maripur. Boom, that's how it's done. And so I thought, okay, so in that movie, there's like a village, there's a big mystery, Indy goes in, he's trying to help them recover this, what's it called? Is it called a Sankara something? Sankara? Yes, Sankara stones. So I thought, let's make something similar to that, some relics, you know, and I just kind of structured it on that story and then changed it to fit my entire arc better. So that was my direct inspiration.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
You've written a lot of books, and they're pretty good.
Thanks.
But I'm curious, have you ever been writing a book and you sort of have a story idea about how you want that book to go, but you don't use it? Like, is there a different sort of plot to begin with, but then that sort of changes as you write on?
That does happen from time to time. I used to, when I was starting out, outline things a lot more strictly, but now I know my own style, which is I do better with a little bit of a looser outline. I have a main idea of how I want the story to go. Sometimes I'll plot it out on like a big board I have in my office. I'll do 3-act structure just like an episode, and I want to see where the beats are for everything and the major story points. But other than that, if I'm writing and it goes in another place that I wasn't expecting, I just usually go with it and see what happens, because I mean, these ponies, they have really well-defined characters. They kind of make what they want to happen, and that sounds a little nuts. But when you have them in your mind just being like, to each other, I just write down what pops into my head and see what happens. You have to delete a lot that way, but it also turns out cooler, I think, than if you stuck exactly to what you were planning to do. But that's just my style, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Oh my gosh, it's AK Yearling.
I'm a little short for this mic.
I'm having a weird identity crisis right now.
Thanks. Your books actually inspired me to make my cosplays for BronyCon.
Oh my goodness.
I was daring do yesterday.
So which are you? Who is who?
I'm technically both.
Both.
My question is, because I just finished the Discord and it was actually fantastic, I thought.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Who's next?
I'd really like to know. I'm so stoked.
The next book coming out is Princess Luna. That's coming out in November 3rd, I believe. It's called Princess Luna and the Festival of the Winter Moon. Ooh. It's part of the Princess Collection. Ooh. Special edition.
Shiny.
Hardback.
Just real quick, who's your favorite princess?
My favorite princess. Isn't it obvious? Book princess. Yeah!
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So, I understand that you've recently also become a writer for the show, and I was wondering, is it possible that some of the elements or events of the Daring Do books might make it into the show?
That is possible, but not yet.
Okay.
It is possible, though, but not what I have written in the show. It has nothing to do with Daring Do, because I'm sure you guys have heard on other panels the way it works in the writer's room. We kind of all come up with ideas, and then we all work on them together, and then you get assigned ideas. So all the ideas are everyone's and not specifically yours. So I would have loved to have written a Daring Do episode, but I didn't get assigned that one, so.
Okay, thank you.
As a Harry Potter fan, have you seen Wizard People, Dear Reader?
What is it?
Wizard People, Dear Reader?
No.
You need to Google it. It's awesome.
Okay.
But my question is, do you think that they'll let you write a Doctor Who's Derpy book, like a Doctor Who's an assistant book at some point?
It's possible because
awesome.
I actually have a book coming up starring a background pony.
Awesome.
But I can't say who.
Hello.
Hello.
Since now you've written script style writing and written novel style writing, what do you find are the biggest challenges and differences between the two? Especially considering you have to work within, speaking of ponies specifically, within the confines of the realm and what Hasbro wants and what not. Like, what different challenges do you face from one to the other?
That's a good question. I actually think writing the scripts is a lot easier. Don't tell the other writers I said that. But it's more collaborative, and also you don't need to worry so much about the images because the animators are going to do that. I mean, you still put it in the description what's happening. But in a book, everything is there on the page. You have to say what they're doing, how they're moving, the looks they're making. It can get very repetitive to say, she held her hoof out. It is a hard, it's a challenge I face. She trotted over there, she looked at her. All that sort of stuff I really dislike doing, but it's necessary for action in a story. So I'm looking forward to, when I see my episode, because I have not seen it, seeing someone else do all of the actions and having it all just be visuals.
Do you think that'll inspire you more for the next book?
Possibly, but another cool thing about the books that you can't do on a script is that you get to choose which background ponies show up and what they do, and you can give them lines, because you're not going to pay an actor to say that. I can put in as much dialogue as I want, and make it silly so that dads and moms have to read it in funny voices.
That's exactly what I would
So they each have their advantages and disadvantages.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
So I was hoping to go back in time a little bit to when you were in college or you were in high school, and you told people that you were going to major in film or that one of your hobbies was writing and you wanted to take that a bit further. I'm assuming occasionally you got a response that was, okay, well, how do you plan to make money then? Like, how many times did that happen, and what was your response to it?
Well, honestly, I didn't really ever tell a lot of people that that's what I wanted to do. It was sort of like secret. I mean, when I was going to high school, I wasn't like telling people I wanted to become a writer. I knew that I wanted to go into media and entertainment. I had grown up as a dancer. I was a competition dancer for my whole life, pretty much. And I loved performing. I loved being on stage. And I wanted to do something where I got to interact with people. Oh my gosh, and look at me right now. I'm on stage. This is great. And I knew that I couldn't be a professional dancer because I just didn't have what it takes to make it through that career. So I decided to put myself through the personal hell of getting rejected in writing. No, just kidding. I just, are you asking because you want to be a writer?
No, I'm asking because I'm one of the engineering students who probably would have made fun of you.
Oh. Well, my response to that is you're standing here because you enjoyed some media that someone made, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I am grateful for that.
Right. So anyone who has dreams of, doing something in the arts or media or whatever, that has a place in our world, obviously. It's just as important to make people happy and lighten their load with some entertainment as it is for many other careers. So we all fit. We all are needed, and we can all do it. That's what I think.
I know what to expect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't let your dreams
do it! Oh, I need to record my own video now.
what would you say for like, especially people who don't read a lot, like what would you say that people can get out of reading that they can't get out of like watching a TV show or a movie?
Reading? Well, vocabulary and spelling. Reading is special because it's just you and a book. I don't know who said it. I forget who said it. Maybe it was Carl Sagan, my hero. No, it's a conversation between you and an author. You know, it's only really the two of you there. A TV show you can watch in a group. A book, I suppose, you could read out loud, but it just feels very personal. And I think you can't not pay attention to a book when you're reading it. You can't zone out. You have to pay attention. If you zone out, you have to go back and reread the paragraphs, right? So it keeps your brain active. Yeah, I mean, go reading.
Thank you.
Always.
Okay, this is a pony-related question, but if you had to meet Audi Zoto in real life, what would be your first reaction?
Well, I just met him over there. Where'd he go? No. Someone was dressed as Audi Zoto. If I met him in real life, well, funny you should say that, because I met Brian Drummond a few weeks ago in real life, who plays Audi Zoto. And I thought it was awesome. And I recorded a video of him going like this to me, "'Cause you AK yearling." But I'd probably be scared if I was a pony and I met him.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So out of all the My Little Pony characters, which one do you like writing the most, and which one do you dislike writing the most?
Like writing the most and dislike writing the most. Well, I like writing Rarity. I like her flowery language. She uses fancy words, and she's very dramatic, so that's always very fun to write. Who do I dislike writing the most? I don't know, because I love all the ponies. I feel like that's mean to say there are ones that are more challenging, certainly. I struggled a little bit with Celestia at first because there wasn't a lot to go on from the show. I mean, I watched a video, someone had compiled all of her scenes from every episode that she's in, and it wasn't very long. Yeah, and she says the same thing over and over, kind of. I love her, but she was difficult for me to write. So maybe her? I don't know.
Thank
I don't
you.
dislike her, though. Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Okay, am I up? Yeah, okay, this is on. Hello.
Hello.
My personal question to you, and I asked you this because I'm trying to get into writing as well. I can not talk into microphones. Have you ever written something that at one point made tons of sense, but then you look back on it and you're like, why did I write this?
All the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
Can you give me an example or no?
I don't know if I should tell you my flaws. If you guys don't notice it, then, because if I say it, then you're going to read that and be like, oh yeah, that's awful.
Oh, well, excuse me, princess. I'll be going now.
If you were going to write a book about what happened to the Dazzlings after the Battle of the Bands, what would happen?
Oh, that's a good question. What happened to them? They went and became mermaids, and then they found Atlantis, which was actually occupied by sea ponies. And then they harassed all the sea ponies. But then the sea ponies started singing a song that went like, does anyone know the song? Shoo-beat. And then they were like, oh, this song is awful, so they left.
Thank you. Were there tacos?
What?
Were there tacos?
Of course.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's why they went there.
Oh.
Tacos. Now I want a taco.
I'm sorry.
Thanks a lot.
Oops, there's Chipotle over there.
Okay, after this.
Okay.
What's your
Party at
favorite horse
Chipotle.
pun?
What's my favorite what?
Horse pun.
Horse pun. Oh. That is like asking to choose a favorite star in the sky. Oh wait, I need to think about this. Oh no, can you guys think of any right now? I'm totally blanking.
Manhattan, because Manhattan is a great representation of humanity's bias, and Manhattan shows that ponies are flawed too.
That's good reasoning. He said Manhattan. I don't know if I could repeat the whole answer though. Yeah, all the city names are really good. But I don't know, I think Baltimore. I don't know, I might have to come back to that. You stumped me. Stumped by a horse pun. Who knew? It was my greatest victory and the death of me.
If you could talk to any writer, alive or dead, who would it be?
I'm sure you guys are going to know my answer. I would love to meet my hero, J.K. Rowling. I had a dream once where I met her, and I woke up and I was so sad. Oh, and Carl Sagan.
On all the stories that you've written and everything, have you ever considered making Daring Do into a video game?
I think that would be really cool. I don't know how I would do that, but I hope.
Would you have a concept that you would go by on it?
You mean a story for a video game?
A storyboard for it.
Yeah. I would love to write the story for a Daring Do video game. That is a great idea.
Think about it.
Hello, as someone who is a writer and is around writers, how important do you think it is to go to college and learn writing in college? Thank you.
Not very important.
Okay.
I think, there's such a wealth of materials online everywhere these days. You don't need a formal education to do the things you want, at least in media. That's kind of the big secret. I didn't need to go to film school. All you really need to do to learn writing is to write and to read and practice like any other art. You don't have to go to art school to learn how to draw. There's plenty of artists that just draw and practice that way. I don't think you need to go to school for it.
Okay, thank you.
That being said, I love school and it's fun, but.
You mentioned procrastination earlier.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you know you have a deadline and you feel like you want to procrastinate?
Oh, so how do I procrastinate? Well, I torture myself. I complain a lot. To my family and my friends. I complain about my deadline. I watch TV. I paint my nails. I do the dishes. I play with my dog. Anything. Any writer, when they're on a deadline, it's not fun to watch. It's not pretty. But the thing is that, I tell myself this all the time. When you're procrastinating, it's because you're scared of something. So you're afraid that you're not going to do it well enough. So once I get over that fear of perfection, or trying to be perfect, and I just say, you know what, just try to do it, then I can get over the hump of, actually getting to it. Because most of the time I'm just scared, and I think that's anyone who's procrastinating anything. But yeah, I do anything and everything to avoid work sometimes. It's really bad.
That was an awesome answer. Thank you.
Oh, look who it is.
Oh no. Oh no.
Brought you your food. I got you a muffin.
A muffin.
To which
And after he bought the muffin, I remembered that you can't eat muffins, so then we got you fruit.
Yes!
And then we were going to save this muffin for ourselves for our
Okay,
breakfast.
so
and
you
then
brought me a muffin, and now
I
you're
dropped
gonna
it,
eat it.
on my pants, and now it's all broken. So, yeah, here's your food delivery.
Thank you, guys. They brought me fruit salad. Wait, I need a picture of this. Wait, stand right here. Stand right here with the fruit salad.
Hold the muffin up. Oh my.
Oh gosh. All right. Thanks, guys.
Enjoy.
You can't eat muffins?
No, I can't eat muffins.
Why not?
Because I recently found out I have celiac disease.
I'm here for you because I do too.
Oh. We'll talk about this later.
Okay, we
will.
will. We
But
will.
yeah, those guys, that joke, if you guys don't know. So, Saberspark and AC Race Best. Well, Saberspark started this thing where one time. Wait, what? Oh, it's our tradition. Every panel I have, he magically shows up and delivers me some sort of food. I don't even know how it started. I think said he was going to deliver a pizza one year, and then it snowballed. One time I got a cake. So now fruit salad. Thanks, guys. Tacos next time. Ooh, thank gosh. Bye, guys. Thank you. All right. Sorry you had to wait through that.
So if you're doing the Princess series, I don't know if you can answer this, but since you're doing the Princess series, does that mean you will get another Twilight book?
We are getting another Twilight book.
Yes.
Part of the Princess collection.
And will it involve her ongoing addiction to writing letters to Princess Celestia?
Maybe. Did you catch that in one of the other books, in the Celestia book?
Haven't you added in 2 books now?
Probably.
I think it was in the Discord
She has a
book,
problem.
too.
She can't stop writing the letters.
Well, the first step is admitting it, right?
Right. I don't know if she will.
They'll have an intervention.
Oh, yeah. I think I mentioned it in the Discord book when she
Yeah.
gets jealous that
Just
Discord
just
had a letter
sensing
with
an ongoing
Celestia.
theme here. So.
She's like, you're her student too? What? Wait, how often do you guys write? Something like that. Yep.
Okay.
Not sure if it'll come up again, but maybe. All right. Thank you.
Hello again.
Hello again.
I just had another question. Considering your love of J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter and your experience writing pony books, have you ever thought about writing a Star Swirl the Bearded book?
I would love to.
Because I think you would do really well with that.
Oh, thank you. You know what's funny about Star Swirl is that I feel like everyone wants to know more about him, but that's part of his mystery and intrigue. It's no one really knows, and he's just this thing we can say when we want to use something kind of mysterious. We're like, oh well, Star Swirl was connected to it, so it's very mysterious.
Legendary.
But yeah, that would be rad.
Cool. Thank you.
So if you could have world peace or live in Equestria, which pony would you visit first?
Wait, you said if I could have world peace or live in Equestria, which pony would I visit first?
Yes.
Hey, that's a trick. Is that a real question?
Yeah, that's a
Or you
question.
just wanted to make that joke?
Well, I didn't really want to make that joke, but it is a question.
Okay. Which pony would I visit first? Fluttershy.
I know you didn't voice Daring Do, but since you pretty much are her in ILRL, how would you voice her? For example, the line, Ali Zotto, you know I love you, but I can't give you the ring till I properly proposed, or any other lines. How you would say it if you were voicing her, or your version of her voice.
You know what's funny is that the only version of her voice I can hear is the one that exists, because that's the one I hear in my head when I write.
Well, do you want to try?
Oh, I don't know if I could.
Don't make me say it.
What am I supposed to say?
The line about, Ali Zotto, you know I love you, but I can't give you the ring till I properly propose. If you remember that one, or any of the ones you could remember.
I don't know. Does anyone else know how to do it? You want to try?
I can give it a try. I also have a question, if that's okay.
Wait, let's try, okay.
Okay, I'm going to be terrible, but I'm going to try. I am terrible with this voice. Go me! Arizona, I love you, but I cannot give you the ring until I properly propose. I don't know what accent that is.
Thanks anyways.
Wait, no, I want to try.
All right. Go ahead.
Just do it!
Owie Zodel, you know I love you, but I can't give you the ring till I've properly proposed.
All right, now, thank you, everyone. Thank you for your lovely rounds of applause. Now, first, the writers are evil, and secondly, my question. If you could create one pony, even if it was just for a day, what would it be and why? And where would they hang out with the boys?
Wait, create one pony?
Just create a pony, even if it was just for an episode.
Are you asking me to make up an OC right now?
Are you? Well, am I?
But why would I create it just for a day?
Well, you never know. It could
all
be
right.
just for a day.
Well, actually, I had this idea for a pony that I know will never happen, but, well, actually, maybe it would. I don't know. Never say never. About cheese sandwiches, sad cousins, soggy nachos. And he's like a total party pooper. And Cheese is just like, oh man, who invited soggy nachos? And he's like, yeah, so that's my pony.
Thank you for your soggy nachos lecture there. I will be going. And also, you're awesome.
Thanks.
If you ever actually met Daring Do, would you have any advice for her?
If I met her? Yeah, I would say, well, this kind of was covered in the show, but I'd be like, take help from people sometimes. It's cool. You can have more friends, because she's such, she works alone. She's so, moody. But, I guess that's part of her charm. She's kind of grumpy. But I would tell her to, relax a little bit.
Thank you.
So first I had a suggestion for how you could have answered your favorite pun question earlier.
Oh, all right.
What you could have said was, it just comes as a natural talent and you shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Oh. That's a good one. That is a good one.
And then my question was, since the feigning couch for rarity doesn't seem to be coming back to the TV series anytime soon, is there any way that it could be written into the books?
I actually think I did write the feigning couch into something.
I haven't actually gotten a chance to read the books yet. So
Oh yeah,
so
I think it is in something. I actually do use that. So I don't know. I don't know what those guys were talking about. I love the feigning couch.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought of another pun. In the Rarity book, I have her reading a magazine called Mère Eclair, which I think is funny. Oh. It's Pinky.
So my question is about your My Little Pony Friendship is Magic book series. So who came up with the idea for the standees that you can get out at the back of the book?
I don't know the answer to that question. Who came up with the standees in the back of the book? I guess it was just my publishers thought, let's put something cool, a little surprise in the back that people can collect. I don't know if they're still in there, though. I don't think there's one in the Discord book. Is there? No? Do you like those? Should I tell them to put them back?
Yes.
Okay. I'll relay the message.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, you were talking about deadlines earlier. Do you ever have to force yourself to write an idea that you weren't really hot about?
Yeah, that's happened.
How do you cope with that? Do you try to get excited even though it's something that you know you're just rushing out, or?
Of course. If there's an instance where I'm going to be writing an idea that's not my favorite for whatever reason, well, first of all, I will always try to champion the idea that I believe is the best, and I will always go to bat for it because I care a lot about the quality of the series. But sometimes it's happened where, there's been a title that my editor really liked and said, make a book about that. And I'm like, oh, okay. I do have to get excited about it and make ways to make it fun, because if I'm not excited about it, you're not going to be excited about it.
Like, do you ever have a lack of ideas or ideas you don't like because you're just kind of out of time?
Yeah, that also happens, but I actually work really well under pressure, and I find that some of the stuff I come up with when I'm like crazed in the middle of the night, like ha 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 ha, is the best stuff. That's me, crazy writer.
This is our 10-minute ramble warning.
Oh, ramble warning.
Yes.
I rambled my way through an hour almost already.
It's so true.
Impressive,
I think I drank too much coffee today.
So, this is for my friend who is not a brony and is sitting back there. But I'm just wondering, what like, because you've obviously like seen the show, and like you only really started working on the show until recently, but you've obviously been like a fan before that. So I'm just wondering, like, what's your like favorite aspect of the show itself?
The show, like, as a whole?
Yeah.
It's funny. It cheers me up, you can rewatch it over and over and not get bored of it. And it's just, when you're having a bad day, sometimes all you want to do is watch something that's colorful and funny and makes you smile. So that is definitely the number one thing for me. And I'm sure for many of you, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I actually didn't even know that they had books out for My Little Pony.
Oh.
So I was like really excited to come and listening to you, I feel like you're just like another writer I could like sit and have a conversation with. It's so cool. But I wanted to make a comment earlier. Someone asked you why books are better than like TV or movies. And I was thinking, if you have a really active imagination, you use it well while you're reading, that it's just so much of a better picture, and like it's almost like the characters in your head are better than on the movie. And a lot of times it cuts scenes too, so you're like, man, I remember when this happened, and they skipped that, how could they?
Yeah, more information and
Yeah.
using your own imagination.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good things to add. Go books.
Go books.
Go books.
How long does it take for you to go from getting the book idea to writing it, editing it, and then delivering the final book? And then my second question, which I just remembered, is can you name a couple of your favorite authors and favorite books?
All right. Timelines are not always the same. So that question always trips me up a little bit. Sometimes it's a month for me to write the book and do all of the drafts of it. Sometimes it's a couple months. It also depends on how fast I get it back from my editors or notes from the studio on just random stuff. Since I read the scripts now, though, I feel like the process has sped up as time has gone on. In the beginning, it was a lot longer, but now I've written 13 and a half My Little Pony books. So I have the system down pretty well so that I can do it pretty quickly. In terms of how long from idea to it being on the shelf, it's pretty quick, actually. It's about 9 months turnaround, and that's much faster than the show, actually. So a lot of things I put in the books that are little Easter eggs from the show, from upcoming episodes. Sometimes you won't even know it because the book will come out months before that episode. And I actually recently had to take out a major spoiler out of my Luna book because they split the season in half. So I was counting on that episode having aired already, and I realized it recently, and I was like, we have to do a last-minute change to that, and I'm glad I caught it. I don't even know if I answered your question, did I? Oh, yeah. My favorite authors. Well, I like a lot of YA series. Like, I like The Hunger Games, and I like I like science fiction books a lot. One of my favorite authors is Norman Spinrad. It's a little more for older people, but I like Ernest Cline. Ready Player One is one of my favorite books. I said that at the other panel, but it's going to be a movie soon, and Spielberg is directing it. So if you want to read the book first, you should, because go books. What else? Yeah, Roald Dahl, Philip Pullman. There's so many. I always blank on this. I should write a list for every panel I have and just like look at the list of my favorites. Maybe I'll post them online.
5-minute ramble warning.
My question's you've written a lot of characters from the My Little Pony TV series into your books, and I was wondering if there are any characters you haven't gotten a chance to write into any of your books that you'd really like to.
There's a few characters that I mention, like, oh, that pony is here, but I haven't really gotten to write for them. One of them being one of my favorites, Cheese Sandwich. So I would love to write either a story where he's heavily featured or a story about him, because I'm a Weird Al fanatic. Yeah.
So with writing for MLP, you're probably expected to write for a young audience. Like, do you have trouble, having to, take yourself back a little bit from, your adult vocabulary, so it's easy enough for the children to read?
Once in a while. I like to include some bigger words, vocabulary words in there, because the way I learned those words was through reading books. So I figure you can either glean the meaning from the, sentence it's in, or you can look it up by yourself or with a parent. Sometimes I have to, break sentences down a little more so that they're a little simpler I don't want to scare off new readers, It's important to me that they don't feel too intimidated by it, but I like to include bigger words, for sure.
I'm sure that writing so many different things takes up a lot of time. What do you like to do when you have a spare moment?
I like to hang out with my dog. I'm actually, and this summer, I'm working at a day camp for girls ages 7 to 9, and it's arts and science, and I'm teaching a class called Mini Pet Design, and we make some little basic robot pets, and it's really fun. So I've been doing that lately with all of my spare time, and it's really cool to hang out with kids all day and listen to what they say to each other, because it's hilarious.
All right, one final question. Do you feel MLP is going towards seasonal rot, aka it is becoming stale and they're running out of ideas? You probably know the answer, but I'm just wondering if
becoming stale and running out of ideas?
Basically, I don't know, it's like we get to season 9,000 or whatever, and they're still saying, yeah, Rarity, she skips to the clouds.
I don't think they would let that happen. I think they'll find a way to make it fresh, or they won't, and then it will end. But we're good. We're going strong, I think.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Don't you guys think so? I mean,
So, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Because when I was in school, I always dreaded writing because I would spend way too much time trying to make it perfect. But was there ever a certain style of writing in school that you just could not stand and you never wanted to do, like persuasive, narrative, expository, whatnot?
No, I've always loved all styles of writing, but I can certainly see that. It's frustrating in school, because it's frustrating to have to do something for an assignment like that, It doesn't, unless you have one of those whimsical teachers that's like, do whatever, it can actually scare a lot of people off from writing. I'm sorry that happened to you.
It was mostly just expository because I would over-explain things.
Right. I don't know anything about talking a lot and over-explaining.
All right, well, that is all the time we have for today. Do you have any concluding thoughts?
Go books! So, thank you for coming.
Everybody keeps saying just do it, but what about just read it?
Just read it.
Just read it! Read it! Thank you everyone for coming. Let's give Gillian Berrow one more big round of applause. Thank you so much.